or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about the missing special illustration rare from Prismatic Evolutions. Now, this is the thing we looked at the other day, where we didn't really have time to get into it. When I was talking about the differences between Terrestrial Festival in Japan and Prismatic Evolutions in the West, I mentioned kind of offhand that there was going to be one special illustration rare that we were missing. And I didn't have time to get into it in that video because it was pretty much pure speculation, and we had enough to be talking about in that video. But I thought maybe it'd be fun to come back when we had a little bit more time, that's today if anybody's wondering, and go into that speculation, because actually there is a missing special illustration rare in Prismatic Evolutions, and this is the kind of thing we need to be talking about. Now, when I say a missing special illustration rare, here's what I mean. When we look at the press release for Prismatic Evolutions, we are told very clearly that there are going to be 32 special illustration rare Pokémon EX and supporter cards. Now, for what it's worth, when we look at the other numbers, there's no such issues. I talked about the A-Specs and Pokemon in a video the other day, so I don't want to labour that point. I don't think it's necessarily terribly important. So, in terms of the A-Specs, yeah, we're getting 6, and there were 8 in the Japanese set, but actually there's only 2 that we really care about. And that is Max Rod and Treasure Hunting Gadget, because they are the new mechanically unique A-Specs. So we're getting 4 reprints, Japan got 6 reprints, it's fine, they're reprints, nobody really cares. Same thing with the Pokemon EX and Terra Pokemon EX. Sure, we're getting fewer than they were in Japan, but we're going to get all the Eevees, and we know we're getting all of them because we've literally seen a group shot of all of them that are coming stamped in the surprise box, and they're the new EXs, so as long as we get them, it's fine. Although there are going to be differences in the numbers in the Japanese and the English set, the only thing that really matters is we get the new ones, and the Eevees we are 100% sure, because we've literally been shown, and the A-Specs, I suppose we can say we're like 99.9 recurring percent sure, because come on, we're blatantly getting the new ones. So if we're missing a few reprints that Japan gets, nobody really cares. In terms of the secret rares, there are 5 gold cards, but there were 5 gold cards in a Japanese set. We had 1 ancient Pokemon, there's your Walking Wake, 1 future Pokemon, your Iron Leaves, 1 Pokemon from the first DLC, your Teal Mask Ogapon, 1 from the second DLC, your Terapagos, and then our old friend Pikachu. So we don't need to worry about the gold cards, there are 5 in the English set, 5 in the Japanese set, job's a good 'un. And we can say the same thing about the full art supporter cards. We are told there are 12 in the English set, and we know there are 12 in the Japanese set. So in order, we got Larry's Professionalism, the new one. We've got Ortega, but as a school person. We've got a Brassius, which was a Pokemon Gym promo over in Japan. So they're giving us a chance to finally get a full art. An Atticus as a full art because it was a promo before and never got one. And as a school picture. Time, because it was a promo before and never got one. Amaris, because it's a brand new card in this set. Friends in Paldea, because it's a brand new card in this set. Giacomo, as a school person. Eri is a school person without the mask. Meta is a school person. And Rhythorn because it was a promo that never got one before. So we got a bunch of full arts, a couple new cards, a couple that were promos before and never got a full art, and then the set of Team Star captains from their time in the academy. 12 in Japan, 12 over here, that makes perfect sense. But then we get to 32 special illustration rare Pokemon EX and supporter cards, but there were 33 in the Japanese set. And this is where things get a little bit confusing. But I think we can narrow it down a little bit. For instance, if we have a look at the poster that we got for the poster set, we know that actually 9 of them are shown off on that poster, all the Evolutions and the Eevee, and those 9 are coming, right? We can be pretty sure those 9 are coming. Similarly, we had a set of 3 future Pokemon, Iron Valiant, Iron Crown, Iron Hands. It would be weird to only give us 2 of the 3. We got a set of 3 ancient Pokemon, Sandy Shocks, Roaring Moon, Raging Bolt. It would be weird to give us 2 of the 3. We've got what people are dubbing the Polaroid Special Illustration Rare Supporter Cards. That is Crispin, Drayton, Lacey, and Amaris, all kind of chilling around the academy. And again, if we were randomly given like 3 of the 4, that would also be weird, right? I think we can all agree that would be very, very strange. But I think there is an obvious one here, and that is the second Eevee. Because you see, there's not 1 Special Illustration Rare Eevee card. There's 2. And the second one is kind of a big deal. As I told you before, it's actually card art that's done by a famous chef. There's like a whole article on the Japanese Pokemon card site all about her. It's Natsuko Shoji, and she's just this ridiculous award-winning chef. In 2020, they won the Best Pastry Chef Award at Asia's 50 Best Restaurants. In 2022, they won the Best Female Chef Award at the same event. And if you look at the background of the card here, it kind of mirrors some of the sweets that they make. I love this. I think this is wonderful. But this is the obvious cut. I can't tell you that this is the card that is missing from Prismatic Evolutions, but I can tell you it is far and away the top contender. And there's a few reasons why I think this is the one that's going to be cut. Partly there's just a lot of other cards, like I've explained, that make too much sense to leave as a group. But partly here, look at the poster we got in the poster collection. It features Eevee EX, but not the other one. And maybe you can make an argument here of, well, you know, it wouldn't be very symmetrical. The way the poster is designed, it looks better with one Eevee. The other one's in the set. It just didn't make sense on the poster, and I suppose we can make that argument, but I'm not convinced. There's also the question of, do we really need to have this card in Prismatic Evolutions? Like, do we need a second Special Illustration Rare Eevee in the same set? They did in Japan. But do we really need it? The answer is no, we don't need it, but I know a lot of people obviously would very much like to have it. But I do think we need to address the elephant in the room a little bit here and ask the question, could there be a chance that we never get this card? Now, I don't know if we are or not. This is all speculation, cannot stress that enough. But we don't need it. We already have a Special Illustration Rare Eevee in the set. If they take it out of here, they would have to include it in a future set, which doesn't really seem to make a huge amount of sense. But also, there is a question of, do we get it as like a promo? Is that how it's going to work? Does it just appear as a promo one day? Maybe. But again, that would be a little bit strange. Just cutting it from the set to use the promo. They've done it before. But the reason I think it's strange in this instance is because it is a card by a top Japanese pastry chef. And I'm not saying we're not getting this card, but I am saying you've got to think there is a chance they just say, this is a very Japanese card. It is a card to celebrate a Japanese chef. We already have a Special Illustration Rare Eevee. We don't need another one. And other territories outside of Japan might not really appreciate the card. Let's not bother. In the same way that we've seen things like the Unagaba cards, which actually did include an Eevee as well. We have literally had an Eevee by a Japanese artist, which never released over here. And I'm not saying we won't. But I am saying that I could see this happening. I could see a possibility here whereby we actually, or Japan actually goes, don't need it. We've got enough other cool cards in the set. We've already got an Eevee in the set. We don't need to have another one. And this is a very specifically Japanese card. Let's leave it as a very specifically Japanese card. Again, I cannot stress enough, this is pure speculation. But I am telling you that this is one of those times I do think it would make sense. I do think at this stage that this has got to be the one that's been cut. I cannot prove it. I only have speculation, but I've explained it in this video, and come on, back me up here. Everything I've said is sensible, right? Everything I've said makes perfect sense here. The fact that we already had an Eevee which is 100% confirmed for the set. The fact that you could cut it and it wouldn't really be missed because we've already got the Eevee. The fact that it's a very specifically Japanese card because it's celebrating a Japanese chef. All of this stuff points to the fact that this is the one being left out. But also would mean it wouldn't be that surprising if we never got this card. If we do get it, I really don't think this is the kind of card that gets popped into a set. I think this is the kind of card that ends up as a promo, and it's a cool Eevee that could be used as a promo in the future. You've got to think that Pokemon would just jump on that chance, surely. But I'm telling you, it is not confirmed or guaranteed, and we need to bear that in mind. But I think we've explained it nicely now. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you think I'm right that this is the one being cut, because one of them is being cut. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Danger Morales, who's been a supporter for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.